I am making a Jinzo deck profile, mostly because I have everything for it, and thought since, at least at the moment, the Labyrinth is running around a lot, I figured I'd go ahead and build the Jinzo deck, and then make a video on it. Overall, I think it's an actual fun deck. I don't think it's going to be meta relevant at all, but overall I still think it's really fun to play. So starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Jinzo Returner. Jinzo Returner has the effect that it can attack directly, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a Jinzo that's in your graveyard and start to summon it, but destroy it during your end phase. That's it. You can just attack directly, and then normally some of the cards in the deck require using a Jinzo card to the grave. It's usually going to be Returner. Then I play 3 copies of Jinzo Ejector. Jinzo Ejector has the effect where it's Jinzo on the field or in the graveyard. And then you contribute to add a Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand, except for another Jinzo Ejector. And then you can reveal all set cards on your opponent's spell and trap zone. And if any are traps, then you can special summon Then you can special summon a Jinzo monster from your hand up to the number of traps that were revealed. You can only use this effective Jinzo Ejector once per turn. Then I play 3 copies of Psychic Bounder. Psychic Bounder has the effect that when it's normal or special summoned, you can then add a Jinzo or a spell or trap that specifically mentioned was Jinzo in its text from your deck to your hand. And then it has another effect where when another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, you can destroy both this card and the attacking monster. And you can only use each effect of Psychic Bounder once per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Psychic Mega Cyber. Psychic Mega Cyber has the effect that if your opponent controls more spells and trap cards than you do, you can persona it from your hand. You can only summon Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn this way. And when this card declares an attack on an opponent's monster, an opponent's effect monster, while you control a Jinzo, then you contribute this card, place that opponent's monster face up in their spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. Which that just matters because then your opponent has a trap, which lets you use some of your other cards. Then I play 3 copies of Jinzo the Machine Menace. Jinzo the Machine Menace has the effect that if a trap is face up on the field or in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, it becomes level 6 until the end of the turn. And then during your main phase quick effect, you contribute this card special summon a Jinzo from your hand or graveyard. Then you can destroy all traps your opponent controls. And then if a card is set, you reveal it. And then you can only use each of the effects of Jinzo the Machine Menace once per turn. Why does that sound like a tongue twister? For some reason. Next, I play 3 copies of Jinzo. Jinzo just makes trap cards and their effects on the field can't be activated and negates the effects of all traps on the field. But this is more or less the boss monster of the deck. I just think it's really funny. And then for hand traps, 3 copies of Drone Lockbird just to stop combo decks that like to search. Then I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom Joy Spring just to stop from adding cards from deck to hand, summoning from deck, or sending from deck to grave. And then for the spells, I play 1 copy of Cosmos Channeling. This just lets you send a monster you control to the graveyard that's owned by... Or you can send 1 monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. Special summon a machine monster from your hand or graveyard. And then when the opponent draws a card for their normal draw, in the draw phase, you can guess what type of card it is. Being a spell, trap, or monster. If you're right, your opponent then reveals the card they drew. If you're right, that card gets sent to the graveyard and you get to draw a card. If you're wrong, they get to keep it. That's it. There's no downside. I love it. But I only play the 1 because Psychic Bounder can actually search for it. Just wanted to make the pile neater. Next, I play 2 copies of Heavy Metal Raiders. This I would play a third, but I only have two at the moment, so I figured just play the two and then get the third later. I'd probably replace Cosmos Channeling with the third. But Heavy Metal Raiders makes each time, or the first time each Dark Machine you control be destroyed by battle or card effect. It is not. And then, if you took battle damage from battle involving a Dark Machine, that Dark Machine monster that battle gains attack equal to the damage you took. And that lasts even if this card leaves the field. As I believe that's how that effect works. Okay, never mind. That effect lasts as long as the card's on the field. I memorized it wrong. And then if a monster on your field that was originally a Dark Machine destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon a Dark Machine from your hand. Which is just supposed to be an easier way of summoning Jinzo and while also protecting Jinzo. Then I also play 2 copies of Psychic Wave. Psychic Wave lets, if you control a machine monster, you can send a Jinzo from your hand or deck to the graveyard to inflict 600 damage to your opponent. But the main thing you want is its grave effect. During your main phase, except if this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a machine monster that's in your graveyard, send a Jinzo monster from your deck to grave, and if you do, add that target to your hand. So basically what you can do with this is you can banish this from your grave, send Jinzo Returner, and then add back Jinzo or something like that. Then I play 3 copies of Cyber Energy Shock. Cyber Energy Shock can only be activated while you control Jinzo, but you target one card on the field, destroy it. And then if it was a trap, you can apply the following effects. Where you can either negate the effects of a face-up card in the field till the end of the turn, or all Jinzo you control gain 800 attack, and you can only activate 1 Cyber Energy Shock per turn. And then I play my favorite card of the deck, which is 3 copies of Law of the Cosmos. Law of the Cosmos just makes me laugh because it's basically trying to make a deal. Where you activate it so your opponent can set a 1 trap directly from their hand or deck, and then if they did, you can special summon a Jinzo from your deck. However, if they do not, then you can add a Jinzo or one monster specifically mentions Jinzo from your deck to your hand. So at the very least, it lets you search for something like Jinzo the Machine Menace. Then I also play 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, just because you're going to get hand trapped. So being able to draw 2, look at your opponent's hand, and put 1 back, or take control of an opponent's monster is actually pretty good. The only downside of this card is that you can only activate 1 per turn. I say that because for some reason, every time I see this card, it's always in multiples. I don't know why. Anyway, for the traps, I played 2 copies of Psychic Shockwave. Psychic Shockwave can only be activated when your opponent activates a trap. You discard a spell or trap to then be able to summon a level 6 Dark Machine from your deck. Basically, this lets you summon Jinzo when your opponent activates a trap. And then, to finish off the main deck, I play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I mainly use this just because, as far as I can tell, Jinzo would prefer to go second, so Infinite Impermanence being able to negate before you can summon a Jinzo, I find to be pretty decent. The extra deck, as far as I can tell, can literally be whatever you want, so I kind of just slapped an extra deck together. So, for the extra deck, I play 1 copy of IP Masquerena, just so that you can link summon during your opponent's turn, and then whatever you use it as link material for can't be destroyed by card effects. 1 copy of Pentastag, just so anything it points to can inflict piercing damage, or any monster you control that points to. Phoenix to deal with back row, besides Jinzo, that is. Or just another out. Unicorn to shuffle back to deck. Appaloosa for negates. So I use just so I can draw a 4, put 3 back, and then summon a monster from my hand for no reason. Boreload so I can steal opponent's monsters or weaken by 500 when they declare an attack. Mech Knight Crusader Avermax because it is really hard to get over, which I still think is funny. Unchained Abomination just because making it with IP Masquerena is actually very funny as it can't be destroyed and it's literally lets you destroy 3 cards every turn. As if a card is destroyed a battle, you destroy a card. If a card is destroy a card effect other than by the effect of Unchained Abomination, destroy a card. During the end phase, destroy a card. I love it. Then I also play one copy of Topologic Bomber Dragon. This just makes it if a monster is summoned to a zone, special summon to a zone it points to, it destroys all monsters in the main monster zone. So, depending on how your opponent's playing, this can ruin your opponent. As well as if it battles a monster, your opponent takes damage equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. Then I also play one copy of number 62 Dagaris the Timeless, so I can either doubly attack, summon from either graveyard, or draw 2, discard 1 by skipping either the main phase, battle phase, or draw phase, depending on which effect was used. Then I also play one copy of number 25 Force Focus. Force Focus is basically just a quick effect, detach material, target a level 5 or higher monster on the field, negates effects. And then, to finish off the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Jinzo Layered. Jinzo Layered just requires 2 level 6 monsters, where you can detach materials from this card and then target a face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it till the end phase. However, it cannot activate its effects or declare an attack. So basically, you use it just to steal for link fodder. And it has the effect that if a trap card's on the field, you contribute 1 monster, and if you do, destroy 1 face-up card on the field. So the whole point of this is that there's a face-up trap on field, usually placed by a Fiend Mega, or by Psych Mega Cyber. Jinzo will steal an opponent's monster, tribute that stolen monster to then destroy 1 card in your opponent's field. That's essentially how it's supposed to work. And if I remember, you can only use each effect of Jinzo Layered once per turn, but that is it for my Jinzo deck profile. The ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, and ideas the decks I like to see face each other, or decks I like to see being made in the future, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.